It always helps when we start the podcast on with a microphone on, right? It helps everyone hear, listen, understand, and get a better idea of what's going on. So audio is vital to success. But so is coffee. So, good morning. Welcome. I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate you sitting and joining with me. We're going to be talking about AI, customer experience. We're going to be diving through a bunch of different documents. So, I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate you spending some time with us. If it's your first time here, check out the socials. But more importantly, I got to introduce myself. So, my name is Rob Petrosino. I am technologist, futurist, but more importantly, all around great guy. And my job is to make you feel comfortable, inspired, excited about emerging technology and how it's going to impact your life. And today we're going to be talking about emerging tech. Wes, what's going on? Good morning. Happy to have you in, sir. I appreciate you coming in and joining with us. It was good catching up with you at that conference. Michael, appreciate you coming in as well. I always love having you guys in here. I really, really do. We're going to be talking about AI and CX today. We're going to dive into probably one of the worst or at least highly rated customer experience sections of the market, and that is the customer service portal / experience. If you're struggling with Stream, we got a couple different ways for you to hang out and really take a look at the stream. So LinkedIn is very popular. I appreciate you guys coming on LinkedIn. If you can't, struggling within LinkedIn and it's breaking down, we're on YouTube. We are on Twitch as well. I will throw those links into the chat so that you have them and you can always refer to them or pop over to those channels to make your life a little bit easier when watching the stream. So thank you for coming in. There is a lot going on in the space. We pulled some recent documents from some really great resources, McKinsey. We pulled some stuff from Gartner just to talk a little bit about AI. So good stuff overall. I think that you guys will enjoy this one. We're going to give it a second or so to chat about it. Someone in the chat, Michael, just asked about Zero Eye. Michael, is that the gun detection AI algorithm that's out there? Is that the one that you're talking about? If so, throw it in the chat on LinkedIn. I see you. I'm not ignoring you in any way. I'm just going through my spiel, getting excited. But we talk about that one for sure. We can talk about that on another one, but that's definitely interesting tool. So with that, we're going to hop on over, like we always do, to the screen share. But before we do that, we have to enable our closed caption for those that are out there. So you're going to see closed caption in the lower right pop up. Hello, everyone on closed caption. Sorry for not putting it up earlier. Trying to be and do the best we can around here to make sure everyone has that. So with that, let's pop on over to the screen share and chat about some of this stuff. All right, so we're going to start here with 3 common focuses of AI and what that really means for you and how that can impact you. So this is straight from Gartner. We're going to run through this and really dive in and make sure that we understand 3 of the most common focus areas as it stands right now, right? This could change drastically in the future and most likely will change in the future. And I think that it has even changed this portion of that. So I think it's interesting. So Michael, the Zero Eye is interesting. For those of you who don't know, we're going to take a quick segment, quick path. Zero Eye is a AI machine learning system that detects firearms in public settings. I think it's super interesting. Definitely want to take a dive into it. Its applicability is, something that I'm not 100% aware of. I'm not in the public, space. I'm not in the DoD space, if you will, or the government space. But I definitely think it's something that's interesting, something that I want to dive into for sure. Pivoting back a little bit, let's look at some of those common use cases. There's 3 big ones, right? Insights and predictions. That's very traditional. So if you guys watched the cast from earlier this week, we took a look at analytical versus generative AI and the big difference between the two of those. So insights and predictions really go on deep neural networks, predictive analytics, modeling, forecasting, etc. has been around for a very long time. Predictive modeling for sales index is a really, really interesting use case and something that's been around for decades at this point, really. If we look at process improvement, this one is the one that has always been tied to insights and prediction. How can I make my teams more efficient? How do I embed AI into different applications? And this is a really good example of this recently within generative AI is an internal tool with generative AI that's connected to your internal knowledge base, right? And that internal knowledge base is who's doing what and how often they're doing it and what's going on in that space related to time cards, how to fill out holiday hours, how to apply for open enrollment, etc. etc. So that's a really interesting spot to be in and kind of kick around. That process improvement reduces the overall work hours for some individuals, but also increases efficiency of others. The last one is the user experience side. So this is the newer side. Okay, this is something that's a little bit more interesting, a little bit more new, especially with the rise of generative AI. So AI for natural language processing, Siri, Alexa, specialized devices or software to improve experiences. Our generative AI with DALL-E and Midjourney, we've seen that start to trend. Generative AI when it comes to product photography, even down to generative AI for visual effects. These different types of experiences are extrapolating or moving extremely quickly in this space. So we're going to dive into user experience today and customer experience overall. So user experience, one portion, user experience typically defined as an interaction between a person and a brand component across omni-channel. It doesn't matter if it's social, digital, etc., but customer experience across all channels. So we're going to dig into that a little bit, and we want to talk about applications specifically for AI in this customer experience world, and we got a lot of different examples. So speech and sentiment analysis has been around for a while. I always, a couple years ago, unfortunately, Amazon is now depreciating this project, but they had a device called an Amazon Halo Band. And what that did was it was a fitness tracker, but it also did sentiment analysis on how you spoke, which is super interesting. Used to give you a quadrant, and you could see how your tone, inflection, and words that you chose mirrored into this 4-quadrant of excited or angry, upset, or happy. It was very, very interesting. So that speech and sentiment analysis is one portion of AI that's happening often. The other one is customer emotion detection, which is very, very similar. How is this person reacting? How is this person engaging with the brand overall, and what that means? So that's one portion of it. The other one that I would like to talk about briefly is this AI-based PII redaction. So the ability to redact personal identifying information, credit cards, address, social security, etc., and having AI redact that information is vital and very strong use case as well. The other ones that we we'll talk about in the next couple slides, this virtual agent onboarding and real-time agent advisor. But these are the types of experiences that you're expecting when it comes to AI and on both the analytical and predictive side. So really, really great stuff when it comes to this slide here and what's happening realistically in the space. Now, when we think about AI, we're going to see AI create different types of artifacts or need different types of artifacts for it to be successful. Artifacts is documentation, information, etc. That is really, really important to retrain on. So there is generative AI and AI audio and visual. So you're talking about photos, 3D models, avatars, video highlights, etc. Anything in the audio or visual space is something that will be artifact or reference when it comes to customer experience. How do we have really strong customer experience while using generative AI to make it more customized to them? Whether it's a PDP page or it is an experience on a Facebook ad or Instagram ad, etc. How do we use use generative AI and AI overall to facilitate this, not only from the visuals, but all the way down to the programming and data assets. So that means what was clicked on, when wasn't it clicked on, etc. etc. So that could be that portion. You can also have training data for website, right? How is the data being ingested? What is being ingested? How? Where is it being stored? All of that information is vital as well for AI and how it's going to be used. So good stuff on that side as well. So some really interesting things moving on these two ends of things. Then we have our very traditional one, natural language processing. Okay, natural language processing, marketing copy. This is ChatGPT 3.5. Over here, we can say in audio visual, we can say 4 because they do some visual stuff. DALL-E, Midjourney, natural language processing, Google, Bard, OpenAI's ChatGPT 3.5, etc. Some interesting stuff in that space too. So, really good things on that of things. And then the last one of my favorite is digital twins and 3D modelings. We have done a bunch talking about digital twins and 3D modeling and why that's so effective, and why it's so important to have on the AI side and what that unlocks for in the long term or journey. Now, you may say, hey, how do I go from design to also design having 3D models, but also 3D models on this side? So thinking about them separately, but connected. So designs is traditionally 3D models that are viewed in the round and connected with data, where audio and visual may be flat models. Getting some comments in. So Wes, 100% happy to share this documentation with you. Shoot me a LinkedIn message. Just make sure you throw your email in there and I will get that over to you. That's for anyone that's on the cast. If you're on LinkedIn or on any of the platforms, reach out and message me, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, YouTube. Give me a shout out and I'm happy to grab your email and send this over to you so you can also ask any questions. I played a bit with Drinkwater AI to build a query bot based on complex membership web page. Still pretty beta when I tried it, but it's a good learning experience on how simple training can be, and even for non-developers. Yeah, so Wes, completely agree. Really great call out here is that there is a significant leap that is happening for non-technical users to be able to build AI models and experiences. And I completely agree with the fact that there is movement in that space. And I think we will see a maturation model, which I will unveil in a couple weeks here, related to AI integration into customer experience, but also user experience and what that means. But I think one big portion of that is unlocking a non-technical user's ability to implement AI into specific use cases, just like we saw from Wix, just like we saw from a couple other platforms as a service, whether it's Wix or Squarespace or any of the others that were out of the box, simple to use and easy to be done. Now, when we move down a little bit, we got to look at customer service specifically, because this is the one that has a lot of frustration in the space. And that's fair. It has frustration for a variety of reasons, but it's very hard when you're engaging with a customer and know that for the most part this customer is having a negative experience, and you have to route that to a different emotional acumen, but also just a different experience overall. So they do a really good job here talking about future state customer journey, seamless transition, interaction between models and business functions, modalities and business functions, for a unified customer service experience, managing a business relationship holistically. So this is really focusing on CX supported by AI models, both prescriptive and predictive, right? Analytical and generative, to make sure the customer journey's flow is strong across all platforms. Fantastic. Then they're going to give you a current state, right? Services and strategies are inbound, but there may be issues. It's largely siloed. Hey, you're in insurance, but now you got to go over to a technical, and then technical has got to push you back to sales, and sales has got to go push you back to so-and-so. That process is quite daunting. So there's a lot of gaps and there's a lot of migration plans. So how do you do it incrementally? How do you provide this best service that's available? And ultimately, how do you drive reference models that allows you to fill the gaps between these silos? And traditionally, that is done by workflow. Now we can enable an AI to help transition that service faster. And the way that we do that is looking at something along the line. So this one's over from McKinsey. AI can support pretty much every stage of the process, right? From having self-service channels to automation and straight through processing, being able to move from a single location to many locations, all the way down to frontline agents. So self-service, hey, I did it myself. I did it to the best of my ability I can. Maybe I'm getting some generative AI virtual assistant. Once that fails, now I can pass over to an automated assistant, right? Very much traditional customer service solutions are step-by-step procedurally based, so you need to be able to go step one is complete, step two is complete, step three is complete, etc. That is traditionally done by chatbots that are completely automated, right? Very algorithmic. 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. Very well done. And then you have your frontline agents for escalation. What we can see though is this is going to start blending together from self-service to frontline agents through artificial intelligence. Conversational AI is going to be a big impact to that. AI and generative AI that's layered upon data sets to smooth out that process is going to be important. But ultimately, what's going to be driving the whole experience overall is performance management. How and what broke down, where it broke down, and why did it break down. So this is a really good way of looking at the overall intent and judgment of a process and making sure that you automate tasks where acceptable, because this drives efficiency, but it would also yield a better customer experience. Meaning, if I come in and say I've already restarted my router 7 times and it's not working, a conversational AI is going to understand that and maybe move past step 1, 2, and 3 and get into a new escalation point rather than go through those steps algorithmically every single time. So when we look at the overall customer service flow and what that means, we have level 1 support fairly automated right now. So incoming calls, it could be call or text or email. Customer inputs their information, so it's categorizing, and analytical AI can support there. Customer record lookup. Is this ID compared to someone? And then is this a qualified customer, right? So I don't 100% agree with their no here, right? Unqualified customers go to a closed support call. It most likely should be transferred to a division, but if it hits yes, you can give them your greeting. This is again algorithmic. Michael as well, please hit me up and shoot me a LinkedIn message and I'll be happy to share this with you. And then pushing through bug history, etc. And that's where we start to have the conversational AI understand the knowledge base that it's built on top of for call history, those bug lists, etc. Now we move into the problem being solved. A lot of this is traditionally human run. Can we have conversational AI support this layer? Absolutely. And then we move from this resolved problem or forwarded call to a second level engineer or a primary human agent is another version of this. So instead of a second level engineer, we move actually to a human agent for issue resolution. And now the interesting thing that we can do with this is categorize this data so that the next time this comes through, it's even better. It gets better every time that the human is enabling AI to understand that information. So this is a little bit of what it means when we say, hey, the world is changing greatly, extremely quickly, and there's a lot of things happening related to this space. So with that, keep in mind that AI is your friend. Someone from the AI side, a virtual assistant from the AI side is going to enable more efficiency and can happen at a slew of different parts of the process. So really great stuff in here. I appreciate you coming in, joining with me. I always enjoy audience interactions. If you guys have questions or you want copies of the presentation, reach out and let me know. I'm happy to send these to you. Shoot me a message with your email. Make sure you check out the socials, and more importantly, accept and understand what's going on around you. Be kind and empathy driven, and I will see you guys on the other side.